As school teams engage in this work and embark on this journey, what tips or advice or pieces would you want them to keep at the forefront and remember?
I think two things come to mind if I had to give advice to someone who is starting this journey. The first thing would be to be super intentional about how you select the members of your team. I think it's often easy for us to um, gather a group of people who we know are like-minded, but in this work I would really encourage you to make sure that you get a really good sample of your staff. Get someone who has literacy knowledge, get someone who understands the work, but then also look for a naysayer. Look for someone who's going to challenge your thinking and the team's thinking on how that might work. And I would also look for someone who can help advance this work. They may not be a literacy person, but you know that they are a strong voice of your staff and they can help continue this work. Each person does have their own role in helping your team move forward, and having all of those voices really led to our collective ownership. Like, this truly was a team effort and we involved all sorts of people. So that's one thing I would suggest. The other thing that I would suggest is, although it's tempting, don't shortcut this process. That renewal process that you're working through is so important. You may see implementation guides from other districts, but the real value for a team is going to be to go through the hard work together. Make it building specific, make it the work of your team so that you can go in the direction that you need to go to. And what we learned from this process is it doesn't matter if it's literacy or it's math or PBIS or SEL, this process can be used. The value is going through the process yourself. Don't shortchange yourself by skipping ahead in the process.
Another thing I think is being very aware of the fact that you are collecting data that you can use, and be intentional about how you first target the needs, because you could assume that teachers understand it, but collecting that data and using that to pinpoint, and instead of just me doing model lessons, we actually had teachers do model lessons, and we made time for them to come in and observe each other. Sometimes it was a recorded lesson, sometimes we did a coffee talk in the morning before school, because learning labs with substitutes presented a challenge. So we found ways to work around that and make sure that the data that we collected was used to target the needs rather than making assumptions about that this is what the people needed. So we were very intentional about the data that we collected and how we targeted it to support the teachers.